On November 7th of 2021, s1mple would raise his first major trophy in Stockholm, crowning him as the greatest Counter-Strike player of all time. At this point in his career, s1mple has the most MVP medals 8 consecutive years on HLTV's top 20 players, 3 of them being first place, a Grand Slam, held the record for the highest rating at a major event, and now he's a major champion. But throughout s1mple's career, Navi has always struggled putting the key players around s1mple, putting him in situations of having to carry his team year after year. But Navi had finally found the correct pieces to put around him, and it felt like we were on the brink of his long-awaited dynasty run. The team consisted of s1mple, Electronic, Bit, Perfecto, and most importantly, Boombl4, their in-game leader, the cornerstone to every great team. It's not the most glamorous role, as they are usually never the best fraggers, but they play an integral role to a great team. They provide the system and identity that the team plays through. Astralis had Glaive, Fnatic had Pronax, Faze had Kerrigan, and Navi, they had Boombl4. To s1mple, this major meant everything to him. It was the final missing piece in his legendary career. But to Boombl4, it meant something entirely different.
Boombl4 has got more to say!
Yeah, I have one more thing to say, guys. I know my girlfriend right now in Moscow, she's watching this, and I want to ask one question. Will you marry me, Lika?
On the surface, this was just a sweet moment adding to their legendary tournament run, but in reality, it was quite the opposite. This one moment would become the first domino to fall in a series of events completely out of s1mple's control, leading to the destruction of his legacy.
Ты еще говорил, что она тебя шантажировала.
Деньгами? Чем еще можно шантажировать, мне кажется?
Ну, вот она говорит о том, что ты там чуть ли не каждый день дуришь. Ты же знал, что она это может?
Нет, я не знал.
Что там, кстати, с судом?
Неоднозначная история, потому что она написала в полицию заявление о домашнем.
Но я оставил свой предикшн, я не знаю, месяц назад я говорил, что потом она еще шантажировать может начать.
616 days prior to the major, in Katowice of 2022, Boombl4 would win his first of many trophies with Navi. After the tournament, he spoke with his girlfriend at the time about his victory, a very pivotal moment in his career. He stated that when he spoke to her, she seemed not to really care about his victory, which rubbed Boombl4 the wrong way. He understandably felt hurt by this and broke up with her. When he returned home to Russia, he decided to purchase an escort, an activity that he has stated he has done multiple times. But this time around, it was different. He met a woman by the name of Lika, a woman he described as having an open personality, and from his very first interaction, he became fond of her and sought to see her again. They would meet up multiple times, and they started to see each other outside of their transactional agreement. This manifested into a relationship that was doomed from the start. The couple would be seen in Mexico, where Boombl4 fell deeply in love with her. He foolishly promised her when he would win the next major, he would propose to her on stage. He also added, "If I had to choose between you and the team, I'd choose you." And that one sentence will haunt him for the rest of his career. The couple would break up multiple times. He went to Instagram stating, "I lost my favorite person who motivated me to wake up every single day. God knows I tried to solve all the problems we had, but unfortunately, instead of trying to help me with that, she decided to end things and run away from me." The very next day, they were back together. Another time, he texted a friend stating that his relationship with her was over, and in 10 hours, they were back together. The couple broke up so many times that he actually lost count. Lika and Boombl4 would move into an apartment together. Boombl4 would state, "The first 2 weeks were great. I moved out of my parents' house and began a life of my own with a girlfriend I liked a lot, just for Lika to break up with him anyways." This confused him, as she would not give him an excuse. He later found out it was actually the mother's decision, who said that they wouldn't amount to anything good and that they would have sick kids. Boombl4 said to her, "Let's pretend I didn't hear this and he won't repeat this again." The couple remained living together, but spent most of their time separated from each other. During the day, Boombl4 would spend most of his time training with his team. Lika visited her child that she had when she was 18, and in the evening, she would return back home to the apartment. Boombl4 went on to say that he had spent over $500,000 on Lika to support her and her family. Right before the major, Boombl4 left the apartment to boot camp with Navi, and once again, Lika broke up with him, but he was going to try to win her back. He still remembered the promise that he had made to propose if they won. Boombl4 went on to tell his teammates about his proposal, and his teammates, especially s1mple, were heavily against the idea and tried to talk him out of it.
Чё по Бумыч? Да ничего, связался с грязной вонючей шлюхой. Ему говорили, все говорили, Кирилл, не надо с ней связываться, она шлюха. А он то любил ее, то не любил, хуй его знает, привязался. Надеюсь, это уже все, это уже окончательно. Мы говорили, не надо с ней связываться. Но я ставил свой предикшн, я не знаю, месяц назад я говорил, что потом она еще шантажировать может начать. Вот эту всю хуйню.
S1mple would be correct, as she would go on a blackmailing spree. Right before the finals, Boombl4 received a text from Lika, reminding him of his promise that he had made. The team went on to win the major, where Boombl4 proposed and she accepted, but Boombl4 would later find out some shocking news. While broken up, Lika started seeing another man, but once the team was on the verge of winning the major, she went back to Boombl4. During that tournament run, she began posting nude photos of herself online, claiming it was in support of the team. Boombl4 had no idea that this was happening and wouldn't find out until after the major. This kind of behavior became a pattern with Lika. Fast forward to Katowice 2022, Navi had made it to the semifinals, the same place where the dynasty won their first tournament together. But where everything started is also going to be the place where everything ends, because right in the middle of the tournament, on February 24th of 2022, a life-changing event had taken place.
Russia has the strength and resources to finish its operation in Ukraine, President Vladimir Putin said in remarks published on Sunday, coming as Russian drones struck homes in Kyiv overnight, according to Ukrainian officials.
Russia had declared war on Ukraine, and Navi is a mixture of Russian and Ukrainian players. This conflict would send the team in a downward spiral. Navi would lose in the semifinals 2-0 against G2. After the match, S1mple stated that they didn't even care that they lost. Everyone was just in shock from the war.
And before semis, like 3 days before, or 4 days before it started. And I remember when we were losing, we had no emotions at all. Like, I had no emotions. No one, none of us. Like, it's
You just couldn't
okay.
care.
Yeah, it's okay. It's like, yeah.
S1mple's life was flashing right before his eyes. Due to the war, he couldn't go back home to see his family, and he was relocated to Poland. He would tweet out that his home is being shelled. His mother had to spend her birthday in complete darkness. Navi's team owner said that he didn't even know if his house was still standing.
Мамуль, с днем рождения тебя. С днем рождения, я тебя так люблю. Мне так обидно, что я сейчас не с вами. И я так хочу, чтобы мы встретились в следующий раз. Со всеми. Я желаю только тебе самого хорошего. Желаю тебе здоровья. И надеюсь, совсем скоро все закончится.
And just when it seemed like things couldn't get any worse, they did. Boombl4's girlfriend Lika posted pictures of herself posing next to Russian tanks with the Russian flag painted on her face. Boombl4 begged her not to post them, knowing it would destroy his relationship with Navi, but she didn't really care and just posted them anyways. Navi saw the photos and kicked Boombl4 from the team, stating that he was a high reputational risk for the club. But that was only half the story. After being kicked, Boombl4 filed for a divorce, and Lika did not take it well. She went to social media to expose him. She posted a video that appeared to show Boombl4 using drugs, calling him a drug addict. She uploaded another clip of herself missing a tooth, accusing him of being an abuser. She even posted his nude photos to social media. Boombl4 in defense took a drug test, proving that the allegations were false. He also explained that the missing tooth was from her in the process of getting veneers and not abuse. During the divorce proceedings, Lika had a full-on meltdown. She started shouting, demanding $5 million from him, and her own mother had to calm her down. Boombl4 signed the papers and left. That was the last time he ever saw her. S1mple still went on to be the best player of 2022. The team had so much success during their run that any decline had no impact. S1mple in a vulnerable state took to the stage at the HLTV Awards to speak on his mental health decline.
Last day I've been in my country 330 days ago, and you know what? Like the first time I never understand people who had like depression or they had some sadness, and 300 days ago I actually felt this. I actually felt that I lost myself. I actually wanted to become better in 2022, and I wanted my team to become better, but the war happened and it was very tough for me, and finally I understand what it means to be in some depressed situation.
With his depression came a host of other problems. Navi struggled with travel and visa issues. There were a lot of restrictions on visas because of the war. This made boot camping with the team almost impossible, which caused the team to miss weeks of practice.
It'll always be what if, right? We'll always wonder what could this team have done?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely because of war, because we lost so many days of practice trying to understand how to move players from Russia,
right,
so they don't stay there and all these documents, and there was a lot of problems.
After Boomage's removal, Navi struggled to rebuild. Boomage was the IGL, the brain of the team, so replacing him is extremely difficult, and the loss of key players like Perfecto and Electronic added to the instability. Finding new replacements while also juggling travel issues made planning even harder. This became s1mple's worst year, placing 7th place on HLTV's top 20 players after 5 straight years of placing no lower than 2nd. s1mple once again found himself having visa issues and was unable to attend IEM Sydney. Navi at the time was having so many problems that the team's coach had to play in s1mple's place. After a year and a half of turmoil, on October 26th of 2023, s1mple would announce he's taking a break from competition, and his replacement would be Wonderful, a young up-and-coming opper from a small team named Sprout. As CS2 was released, everyone thought that the new Navi squad would be left behind in CSGO, as filling the role of s1mple was almost impossible. The first CS2 major was just 6 months away, putting Navi and their coach Blade in a difficult situation, having to choose between 2 options: either bring back s1mple in a new game after a long break, or continue with the current roster and build new chemistry. Blade chose option 2, and the community absolutely hated this. Actually, that's not true. For the most part, people actually agreed with this. The community was slowly changing their opinion on s1mple. When CS2 was first released, the reception of the game was not good. Everyone hated it. The game was filled with bugs, movement felt like shit, people hated subtick, the game was filled with cheaters, and the biggest hater of them all was s1mple. He went to Twitter talking about how much he hated the game. He hated the game so much, he actually just straight up stopped playing the game while still on contract. He instead started to play other games. All of this complaining rubbed people the wrong way, but s1mple, all he had to do was wait for the inevitable failure at the Copenhagen Major. But that's not what happened. Navi went into the major and won as an international team. This has only happened once before, and now that there's confirmation that international teams actually work, Navi is no longer in the confinements of having only native players. And they didn't stop there. Navi went to 7 grand finals while winning 4 of them in just 6 months. Under the new leadership of Alexi B, he was able to turn a team with no superstars into the next juggernaut. Navi was on the verge of becoming a new dynasty. s1mple, at this point, has been forgotten, and the overall consensus was that Navi no longer needed the superstar that is s1mple. The team statistically performed better without him, and the perception of s1mple started to shift. He took to social media, stating, "Navi doesn't need s1mple, s1mple needs Navi. There are things that are hard to talk about. It's a shame to realize that I am not a part of the team, my home team, because I've been with them since 2016. Now, I'm in a relationship. I finally feel happy. Hopefully, I'll be back at some point. I'm sick of doing nothing. I'll come back stronger for sure. It's just a matter of time." If you were wondering why s1mple just doesn't join a new team, he can't, because s1mple has the largest contract in all of Counter-Strike. Navi wasn't going to let the largest contract go for free, and if they needed him back in the lineup, they could. His buyout is set to $3 million, making his buyout larger than the player who has the most prize earnings in the entire game. No team was dumb enough to buy out his contract. It is not guaranteed that they would get a prime s1mple, but in fact, there was a team dumb enough to buy out s1mple's contract. Team Falcons, a Saudi-owned organization who was using gaming as a form of sports washing, was throwing money left and right for players to play for them, and s1mple was right in their crosshair. They would sign him to a 3-month loan paired with other legends who were clearly out of their prime. The Falcons were seeking to make a run at the Shanghai Major, but the team was doomed from the start. They would play in 2 tournaments before the major, where the team didn't win a single map across both tournaments. s1mple was showing signs of greatness, but was clearly not close to his prime form. The Falcons' next trip was the Shanghai Europe RMRs, where they would absolutely bomb, beating only one team who was barely a tier 3 team. They would end up losing their next 3 series, ending with a record of 1-3, failing to qualify for the Shanghai Major, his first time in 12 long years. And during Shanghai, s1mple wasn't even the best player on his team. The Falcons and s1mple would come to a mutual agreement to cut ties at the end of the 3-month contract, as the experiment ended in complete failure. So here we are, current day, 4 months from the Shanghai Major, and I want to remind you, s1mple is still the undisputed GOAT of Counter-Strike. But throughout s1mple's entire career, there has been only one player to ever rival him. He is the only reason why s1mple hasn't been the #1 player in the world for 5 consecutive years. He goes by the name of Zywoo. s1mple and Zywoo are extremely similar. They are both oppers. They both have been #1 in the world 3 times. Both of them have won major, and they both absolutely carry their teams. But this year, Zywoo has the opportunity to change everything. His team, Vitality, has won 5 out of the 6 tournaments played this year and haven't lost since January, meaning they have won all 5 straight, winning a Grand Slam. They just broke the record for the 2nd longest win streak of all time. And at this moment, it looks like no team can stop them. Not even Team Falcons, who spent millions on Nico, m0NESY, and buying out an entire roster from Heroic. Zywoo this year has passed s1mple for the most MVPs. Vitality currently stands as the most dominant team. The next major is just 2 months away, and if they win, Zywoo will have 2 majors over s1mple, making it very difficult to reason why s1mple is better. s1mple in a tweet says he wants to come back, but that doesn't mean a team will pick him up. G2, who just lost their best players, Nico and m0NESY, to the Falcons, don't even want to pick up s1mple. The CEO of G2 stated that they aren't even considering him because of his age and lack of commitment to CS2. s1mple in the last month has only played 12 matches on Faze. He currently streams on Twitch, and now he makes rap songs.
I feel so fucking alright. I wanna fuck some pussy. No fucking smell like Steve.
The state of s1mple's skill is extremely worrying because of today. As I'm recording this, Faze is taking a bigger gamble than the Team Falcons have in the last year. Faze will sign s1mple on a loan for the Austin Major. This is extremely risky. You can either get this version of s1mple or this. With the Team Falcons, at least you know the product that you are buying. This major will decide s1mple's future. His legacy is on the line, and Navi, they will be watching. s1mple is still signed to Navi, and his contract ends in October, meaning s1mple's career can go down a few different directions. If we get prime s1mple, Navi will attempt to re-sign him. The current Navi roster is falling apart, and the dynasty conversations are over.
Unfortunately, there will be no Navi era. The string of grand final finishes, the previous major victory, all for naught as they fall here to the unlikely suspects of Heroic.
The team, who won a major without a superstar, are now in need of a superstar, realizing that it's integral for a championship-winning team. Spirit has Donk, Vitality have Zywoo, and the Falcons, they have 2 superstars. Another option is Faze could just sign s1mple if he does really well, or s1mple can just walk away and search for new opportunities. If s1mple does horrible, the end will be near, and retirement will be right around the corner. Navi won't extend his contract. A second look at s1mple's professional state will deter any other organizations from working with him. And if he does horrible, he might just take the Shroud route and stream. At this stage of his career, s1mple has nothing to prove, and coming back may only hurt his reputation. He hasn't played professionally in a year and a half, and his last showing was not beneficial. The life of a professional is not easy. With endless amounts of training, constant flights, and the headache that comes with losing, it may no longer seem appealing, and streaming is more monetarily beneficial. In reality, s1mple is not looking to win the major, but instead, he is looking to defend his legacy against his boogeyman. Zywoo has stated that he doesn't really care about the rivalry between him and s1mple, but the rivalry is very much alive, and the GOAT debate will be tested at the Austin Major. If there's anything I want you to take from this video, it's if your boyfriend wins a big tournament, tell them that you're proud of them.